What's up everybody, ZWade Photo. If you're new to my channel and you've backtracked and you've watched a bunch of other videos, or if you've been following me for a while, you know that every once in a while I do a kind of an update of the lenses that I'm using right now. And so I think it's about time for me to go through, because I've gone through some big changes in my gear set, and I've gotten rid of a bunch of things and I've acquired some things since my last lens video. And so I just wanted to do an update. But before I do that, I want to invite you to help this channel grow. You can do that by making a small donation in the PayPal link below. You can go to my personal website. You can check out my art portfolio. You can swing by the print shop and pick you up a print. Or if you don't want to spend any money, you're not going to hurt my feelings. You could just like, share, subscribe. It's totally free and it helps this channel grow. So I'll start off by saying that most of my manual focus lenses that I did really adore, I just found myself not using them very much, and that's really sad for such fantastic glass that I had. And you know, I want people to enjoy lenses, and I enjoyed them while I was using them, but it's just sad to have them sitting around when somebody could be showing them a lot of love, and I just simply didn't use them anymore. If you watched my last video, you know that some of the lenses that I've acquired, they're really challenging what I believe about lenses. And so I just really didn't feel the need to have these manual focus lenses specifically for like artistic purposes. If you hear any squeaking, I apologize. I absolutely refuse to interrupt Lolly playing with toys because I love her dearly. So what am I using right now? Well, I have the Z6 II still. I will never get rid of that camera. It has a very specific purpose, but it is just way too Swiss Army knife of a camera for me to ever give up. Now, the Z7 II, I technically still have that. I have a friend of mine in the Wichita scene that is testing it out right now to see if maybe he would be interested in buying it. Because I do have the Nikon Z9 on the way, and it will do everything that the Z7 II does plus more. And so I don't really feel a need to have the Z7 II and the Z9. Recording my horrible face and my receding hairline right now is the Nikkor Z 24-70 f2.8. It is an amazing lens, and I don't ever leave home without it. I always have it in my bag, whether it's mounted to either my primary or secondary camera. That, you know, that may change here and there, but it at least is always in my bag. It's blowing my mind how sharp these zoom lenses are. And that lens is just so versatile. If you've never used a 24-70, I never really thought I needed one. I was always a bigger fan of a like 14-24 or 15-30 in the Tamron, and then a 70-200 in the area in between. I preferred to fill up with prime lenses. However, the 24-70 is every bit as sharp as any prime lens I've ever used. I don't know how Nikon did it. It's never really been the case, but nonetheless, oh my God, it's beautiful. The colors are beautiful, and I absolutely adore this lens. Moving on to the next lens that somehow is kind of impossible. It's the amazing 14-24 f2.8. Somehow Nikon made a wide angle zoom that is incredibly sharp corner to corner. This is rivaled only by the Tamron 15-30 G2, which is one of my favorite lenses. That's a sexy looking lens, and it's a sexy performing lens. However, this is just that much better. And it's very handsome. Typically, you know, wide angle zoom lenses and wide angle prime lenses, they're just not that good looking. Not that looks matter, but I do enjoy a handsome lens. And this is a very handsome lens. It just looks good. As I said, not that that matters. It's just insanely sharp. This does get left home sometimes. I do like this for portraits, but I typically only take this out like specifically whenever I'm shooting landscapes. But it is fun to bring along to portrait shoots. It is a necessity, in my opinion, at like events, especially if there's dancing. Get you a wide angle lens. It doesn't have to be a wide angle zoom, but get you a wide angle lens, because a lot of photographers won't get that super wide of like everybody at the party or everybody at the event, and that'll just give you that little bit of extra. Completing the Nikkor Z Trinity is the amazingly sharp and super fast 70 to 200 f2.8. Of the Trinity, this is my least used lens, and it's kind of a shame, but I have this for a specific purpose. If I want to go shoot birds or something like that, I do like to take this out for portraits sometimes, because this thing at 200 millimeters, great compression, awesome bokeh. Really heavy. People who think that moving to mirrorless is like, you hear the argument of weight. That's not a good argument, because the only thing that's lighter really is the cameras. This is a really heavy lens. You know, Nikon is doing its Nikon thing. Canon, hats off to them for making super small telephoto lenses. That's really cool, but Nikon's not doing that. This has a absolute shitload of glass in it, but you expect that out of a telephoto zoom. It is internal zoom, which I absolutely love. The one thing I don't like about the 24 to 70 f2.8 that's recording my face right now is it's not internal zoom. The 14 to 24 is internal zoom, and I hope that someday Nikon will make the second version of the Nikkor Z 24 to 70 f2.8, and it will be an internal zoom. This lens does have VR, and it is insanely good. You can't turn it off like some other lenses, but you know, this thing is just really kind of nutty in how good it is. Tamron used to own image stabilization. Nikon has finally beat them, I think, but it could also be, I don't know if this works in sync with the internal image stabilization, but if it is, great. If it's not, this thing is, it's loose when you move, and then as soon as you stop, you can see how tight the image stabilization is. And I have gotten sharp images handheld at like 1/5 of a second. It is extremely good. Something really awesome about this particular lens is actually not the lens at all. It's the hood. The hood is actually felt lined, which you don't see a whole lot from Nikon anymore, but it is felt lined. These things do get kind of crappy to clean. They get like hair and stuff on them. Little piece of advice, a lint roller takes care of it perfectly. Just tear you off a piece, go in there, pat it out. Great. I like felt lined. I'm okay with the matte painted finish. I'm okay with that, but to me, felt lined hoods just kind of tell me it's a little bit different in quality, and I like that. It's also very tough. This might save your lens if you drop it, and I think this might survive. Also, I want to mention too that the 14 to 24 is also felt lined, and of course the 24 to 70 is felt lined. But in these next lenses I'm getting to, one of them, which is as expensive as any of these, is not felt lined, so that's kind of strange. The Nikkor Z 105 f2.8 micro. This is a macro lens, a very good one. Not incredibly fast on the autofocus, but super accurate on the autofocus. Most of the time, if you're shooting macro, you'll be doing it on a tripod. However, this is not typically shot on a tripod for me. This does have VR. It's very tight, but it's not as tight as the 70 to 200 in my opinion. But this thing is balls sharp, insanely sharp, and it is a lot of fun to shoot. I've actually shot more portraits with this than macro, because typically I shoot macro whenever it's nice outside, and it was too hot outside whenever I got this, and it was too late for the botanical gardens, really, in my opinion. And so I haven't got to shoot this a whole lot for macro. Keep an eye out though, because I will be doing some indoor macro this winter, just so I can kind of show you more about this lens, because I haven't done a whole lot of macro with it, and I want to show you guys that this is a great macro lens. There's something strange about this lens, and that's this front ring. It's like a nothing. I don't know what it is. It's like a nothing. It's just there. It's for decoration. It feels good. It's just like a rubber ring that doesn't turn. I don't even know like why it's there. It has a limiter switch. I just leave it on full. If you're shooting macro, then you can switch it to 0.5 meter to 0.29 meters. Don't leave that on if you're shooting portraits. Run it to full, but it is nifty when you're shooting macro, because this thing will hunt. It's very accurate, but it is kind of notorious for hunting. The lens hood of this is not felt lined. I wouldn't expect it to be because this lens is $1,000, which by the way is underpriced, I think, for this lens as far as its performance goes. Now, I used to have the 50mm f1.8s, and that lens is absolutely fantastic. Underpriced in its performance, lightning fast, insanely sharp. However, I did find it a new home because I don't care about weight and I don't care about lens size. I care about having specific things that I want, and bringing in my favorite lens, and this is officially dubbed my favorite lens of all time, the Nikkor Z 50mm f1.2. There's one disappointing thing about this lens, and it's not the price. Worth every single penny. It is the price as it relates to the lens hood. I wanted it to be felt lined. It's every bit as expensive. This is every bit as expensive as the Trinity. And the Trinity gets felt lined hoods. I just want that, because if you're gonna get $2,000+ from me, just put a little felt in there, okay? It makes me feel better. However, it is matte finished. It's not that big of a deal. I'm being very petty. This lens somehow is perfect optically. It shouldn't be. It's ridiculously sized for a 50mm, but I think it's sexy. I'm weird in the fact that I like substantial lenses, and my God, this thing is just a freaking monster, and it's so sexy. It has that same weird, like, this ring does nothing. It's a rubberized ring. It's just for looks. The manual focus is very light. There is a bit of a delay when you're manual focusing with these Z lenses because they're controlled electronically. This is not a physical focus, right? You're not actually moving the glass. You're sending a signal and it's moving it. But this is very, very, very light. But with how good the autofocus is, you shouldn't really need manual focus. I do it whenever I'm shooting like groups. I will manual focus for that with the focus peaking. But I'm getting off subject. This lens, like I said, my favorite of all time. Well, guys, that is my entire lineup, right? Compared to my last one where I think I had 11 lenses or something like that. This is really conservative. Everything I have right now does everything I possibly need, period. I don't need another lens. The only lens I am missing right now is I want an 85mm prime, and I am waiting for the 85mm f1.2. That's a wrap of this episode of ZWade Photo. Do you have any of these lenses? Are you thinking about getting them? Let me know what you think or what your reservations are in the comments below. Let's have a discussion, and I will catch you in the next one.